Hey, hey now. Hey. How we doing? It's almost 5 o'clock. We're a little bit early. Hello, knowledge seeker. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the all the pieces and the parts. 5 o'clock. I am well. I am enjoying my weekend. I am working through a little bit of, niceness happening in the ear, nose, and throat area, but God is a healer. So I am um, healing. That's what I'm going to say. I'm healing because I don't like when people I say it the other way. I am healing. Yes, I am healing. I hope you've had a good weekend. Hopefully you've had a good weekend as well. I was trying to make sure I had all the pieces and the parts ready for when everybody starts coming in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We're live at 5. We are live at 5 on a Sunday evening. It's a little rainy here. It's 69 degrees, but it's rainy Sunday. It's a rainy Sunday. So I've been resting my body, basically. Mostly because it's not that I feel really like I don't feel necessarily sick, but I feel like kind of So I've been resting my ness while I've been kind of feeling I'm kind of resting it. But I knew we had to do 5 o'clock live because we got stuff to get done. If you're here, say hello to me. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. Say hey there, hey there, hey there. Hi, everybody. We've got a good agenda this afternoon or this evening. I guess this would be called. This would be called evening. Where'd my agenda go? Got to bring it back up. There it is. We're going to talk about last week, how last week played out. We're going to talk about how my PeakBot trade went last week. We did PeakBot on this call last weekend, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Sarah says it's Sarah says it's rainy and 44 degrees in Atlanta. No. Rainy, I can deal with 44 degrees. Cold weather of London, where Knowledge Seeker is. Oh, goodness. CMS says, hello, Shar from Georgia. Hi. Karen's from New York City. And Jay says it's rainy in New York City. Well, I've been to Manhattan. Been in Manhattan. Hung out in Manhattan and Brooklyn. It's been a lot of years ago. My husband's family is from New Jersey, so I've been there a couple times too. But hey, y'all, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening. Appreciate you. If you got something you want to know or something you want to say, please engage in the chat. This is an interactive kind of situation. We enjoy one another while we're here. Okay. So I said we're going to talk about PeakBot and my traits there. We're going to talk about the credit spreads challenge. The credit spreads challenge is going so well. I believe that everybody who entered the spread last week came out profitable. If they didn't mention it. Okay. So I'm only going with what I've been told. We have a Telegram group where people communicate. And of course, in any group, some people communicate more than others. So some people, if they've had any issues, they've not communicated them, which doesn't really help. That'll be my first information piece for today, my first inspirational message. If you need help, ask for it. Okay, there is no pride in saying I don't really know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't really know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. Nobody expects you to know everything. Say I don't know and get some help. If you need help, let's get help. That's the whole reason why we do stuff like challenges, so that people can ask for the assistance they need. But if you stay in there and don't ask, then Lord, they say a closed mouth don't get fed. You got to open up your mouth. Hello, people who are on Instagram. Welcome. Come over to YouTube. I'm going to put it in the chat. Come over to YouTube so you can see my screen. When I get ready to share my screen, I want you to be able to see all the pieces and the parts. So come over to YouTube so you can see the screen when I start sharing. I think I've got it spelled all right in there. The link is in the chat, youtube.com @ Educator2Trader. Come on in. I guess tomorrow will be sideways move of SPX. Tuesday and Wednesday might be big days. Yeah. That's we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about the possible movements of next week, which was Knowledge Seeker was just mentioning. We're going to talk about what meetings are coming up next week. We're going to talk about the changes that have happened inside of our membership. We're doing some things to even support our traders even more. And I think you're going to like what we're going to do in the membership. And you might even consider signing up and coming on in the room. You might want to come on in the room. Hello, Royal Diadem. Welcome from Georgia. We got a trade ideas sheet, and then we're going to do some charting. We got a little bit of stuff we're going to, stuff we need to accomplish and cover while we're here. Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Which screen am I sharing? That's the first question. The first pregunta is, which screen are we sharing? And why don't I see what I'm looking for? Oh, there it is. Got rid of it. I moved it. That's what happened. Let me share my screen. Get the one I want first and then share it. I kind of want to move that up there, but I may do that. Move it where I can be looking up toward the screen versus down towards the laptop. There we go. Oh, no, I want screen 2. Screen 2. Okay, I believe I'm sharing the screen now. Everybody should be able to see the focus. Follow one course until successful. This is SPX from last week. Hope everybody can see. If you cannot, hey, Adrian, if you can't see my screen, please say something in the chat so that I can know. Okay, so we've got SPX. This is our daily chart on SPX. Y'all remember last week I put this trend line on here, and it just went to that trend, but it's kind of sat still for a while. And that's for a lot of different reasons, mainly because SPX is literally saturated where it is. It's been saturated for about 2 weeks, and it's just saturated, which is why it's not moving. It's also got very strong resistance in the 4604 range. It's got a lot of resistance there. So it's not pushing any higher. Plus, all the things in the world are really telling us that we shouldn't push any higher. But, we, of course, feel like the market can go up forever. So it, of course, keeps trying to go up forever. But we've been consolidating, as you can see now, for 5 days, 10 days, for about 13 days. We've been in this same zone between 45.30 and 40. This one went up to about 46.04 was how high this went up. We've been consolidating in that zone for all this time. We filled this gap from back here in August, and this is where we've been for the past couple of weeks, just hanging out in this zone up here, because we got to see what's going to happen next. We're basically waiting to see what will happen next, right? So this is what we had. One good red day, but the rest of those were kind of, these little doji and hammers don't really tell you a lot going on. Friday was a pretty big green day, but it, pushed a little bit higher, but it ain't pushing strong and hard, right? Not doing too much. Let's talk about what's coming up in this week's meetings, which can give us some input into what could be going on, right? What could be going on this coming week? Well, Monday's probably not going to be anything. We've got an orange folder, which is 10-year bond auctions. Probably not going to be much movement. It may just sit still again. Tuesday, we've got CPI, though. Month over month, year over year. That's all red folders on Tuesday morning. 30-year bond auction, the federal budget balance. Then on Wednesday, this is where the volatility is going to come in, because this is where we've got FOMC coming in on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday at 2:00. We got PPI in the morning. So CPI on Tuesday, PPI Wednesday morning, FOMC Wednesday afternoon, all these acronyms, Jesus help us. But this is where we'll probably hear, this is where we will hear whether there will be a rate hike or they will stay their hand for a little while longer. So there may be some, heightened volatility in this Wednesday afternoon. Put that on your calendar. So if you're getting in trades and you need it to stay in a spot between now and Friday or between Monday and Friday, you might want to keep in mind that Wednesday there could be what we call a binary event, and something that could really cause a lot of volatility, maybe cause it to run one way or the other. The last couple times there was FOMC, because nothing was said that people weren't, was no new news, then basically nothing really happened, right? I was listening to Latchman. Some of us, y'all know, we listen to Latchman. He does an S&P 500 assessment, technical analysis every week. And he basically says all this stuff from this week is priced in. So now that it's already priced in, that you may not feel the volatility to the same degree because it's all being priced into the market. Y'all do know that on high volatility days, the premiums are higher. So if you're buying stuff, things cost more. If you're selling, like us, you get better premiums. Yes, you can give us better premiums. Yes, when you're selling, you get better premiums, because the people who are buying are paying more, so the people who are selling can receive more. This is what we do. Thursday morning, we've got retail sales and unemployment claims. Those are red folders. That's on Thursday. Probably the market will still feel the effects or start to show the effects of Wednesday's announcement. And then Friday, we've got Empire State Manufacturing Index and Flash Manufacturing. Friday also is, or this week is the third week of the month. It is the monthly expirations on Friday. I always find those days to be, I hesitate to say this, but they do seem to be a little more bearish in the earlier day, and then they turn bullish because people are closing positions that they've had and putting on new positions. So, yeah, again, I hesitate to say that, but no, by the way, now that I'm hesitating to say stuff, none of the stuff I talk about is investment advice. None of this stuff is investment advice. I'm just talking. Y'all are just listening. I appreciate you for listening. I'm going to stop talking and say whatever it is I'm going to say, but know that I'm not a financial advisor. I don't, I'm not a professional in that fashion. So, take all this is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, entertainment purposes only. Knowledge Seeker says, historically, CPI data brings down the market for a day or 2 days, and then JP talking on Wednesday. Yep, Mr. Powell, Jerome Powell, is going to speak on Wednesday. See a big gap at 44.53. Yeah, there's a pretty big gap below us. It's just waiting. It's calling my name. Okay, so last week, what I did with PeakBot, we talked about PeakBot. What I did on Monday was this is supposed to be showing the watch list. What I did on Monday was I allowed PeakBot to do my, to do a selling a put. It's spinning. I allowed it to sell a put on TQQQ. So I used that. My trade ended up being the 39.41. Remember, we talked last week about how it would do the 30 delta on the sell leg. This is not wanting to act right. It would do the 30 delta on the sell leg, and then it would do the 10 delta on the buy leg, but it's on the put side, right? So I ended up with 41.39 or 39.41 put credit spread. I can stop this because we don't need to see that just yet. I ended up with 39.41. Okay, there we go. Whew, causing issues. Let me see if I can get me a place so that I can. I want to be able to write some stuff. There we go. Come on. Okay, I'm going to bring it down here maybe. And then I'll present again. Yes. Okay, so this is what I had last week on PeakBot. This was my PeakBot trade. PeakBot trade last week. I only did one with them last week. I looked at several. I decided on one, and I think I was so busy on Monday. This past week was finals week for my students, so all week we were focused on getting reviewed and getting ready for the final. I teach college algebra at University of North Florida, and we were working so hard on getting ourselves ready. Basically, it was 39-21, and so I was focused on that. And then it was either afternoon or something is when I sent to put the message in for PeakBot to go ahead and open up the TQQQ trade. Or I might have said it that day when we were on the call and I didn't turn it off. Either way, this is what happened. PeakBot did. I received $35 in premiums. Okay, so 39 was the sale contract. Even though they're calling it the wheel, and it is the wheel, they do it as like a put credit spread, basically. Sell contract. Well, no, that was the other way around. That will be the buy contract, because the one closer to the price is the sell leg. Okay, sell contract, not whale contract. Okay, so it becomes a put credit spread, right? Because you do the 30 delta sale leg we talked about, which was 41, and then it does a 10 delta buy leg, which ended up being 39. This was $200. Let me see. $200 of collateral, which actually it's like $165 because it's $200 minus the $35 they already give you. So $200 of collateral. I received $35 in premium. I closed the trade on Thursday, closing on Thursday for $7. I closed it for $7. I bought it back. I did a buy to close. Let me see. I bought. Oh no, that needs to go right here. Bought to close the trade on Thursday for $7, which allowed me to keep like $28 in profits. I could have left it because with PeakBot, it goes until expiration on Friday. It continues to go till expiration. I didn't want to leave it to go till expiration because generally my trading plan says that when I get to 80%, 75, 80% in profit, I go ahead and close it. So I went ahead and closed it. I could have left it like it was. TQQQ. TQQQ closed at $44. Let me change my share screen. I don't know if you can just change the sharing or you have to stop and do. When I'm in my Zoom, I can just change screens. Doesn't work that way here. Okay, so this is TQQQ on the chart. There it is. TQQQ closed at 44.83. You can see over here to the left that it closed at 44.83. My trade was 39.41, which means I needed it to expire above $41. And it did and would have had I left it. I just closed it on my own just because that's my own trading plan. But PeakBot would have done that. That's what we did last week. Remember, PeakBot will do the automated trading for you. You pick the stock you like, right? And it tells you, if you're looking on the option chain, you can see for yourself about how wide the spread is going to be. You got 30 delta sell leg and a 10 delta buy leg. That's going to give you a spread. Maybe it's a 2 spread or a 3 spread, depending on how expensive the stock is. I try to pick the ones that are between 1.5%. This is the estimated return on the cash. The ones that are between 1.5 and 1, and somewhere between 1 and 1.5 are the ones I pick. You can pick as many of these as you want. You know, PeakBot is running a free trial. You get 2 weeks of free trial. You can try it out. They link to Thinkorswim and they link to Tradier. They link to Thinkorswim and Tradier. It's a good thing though to have, you know, an automated system that's doing the trading for you. And you know, some of us are a little nervous about having automated systems, but if you got a 401k or an IRA, you're already doing automated trading. whether you feel like it or not. If you're not doing the trading, somebody's doing it for you. So it's automated, right? In this case, you have a bot that is using an algorithm that is doing it for you. So, give it a couple weeks try if you're interested. Use peakbot.com is what you should do to get there. Use peakbot.com. And when you do that, tell them I sent you. Basically, tell them Arlissa sent me. Educator2Trader sent me. And you can get like they have some people there who will give you like a one-on-one run through if you get your questions answered or whatever. If you want to do that, you can always do that over there. But I'm looking at the list. So between 1.5, you got Palantir is here, Carnival Corporation, the cruise line people, Unity Software. We hear about Unity pretty steady. Xpeng is on here, which Xpeng is also on the list that I put out, that I'm putting out for the week. Xpeng is also there. DraftKings is here. Warner Brothers, Caesars Entertainment, Oracle is here. Micron Technology, which is also on my list, and Futu Shop, Alcoa is here on the between 1 and 1.5. TQQQ is here also. That's what I told you I did mine on last week, was TQQQ. Square is here, INTC. I did a credit spread on them last week. Net and Baidu and JD.com. I think. Oh no, but anything on this list is a good selection. Anything on the Peakbot list. Okay, so that's how my trade went for last week. I let the algorithm do the work, and collected my premiums. Okay, the call credit spread challenge. It's a challenge. Call credit spread challenge is going strong. We had Educator2Trader.com. We had oh my goodness, so many people. We met a couple times during the week, so that way we could discuss how to enter your trades, how to exit your trades. I'm not sure why you won't just open up. There we go. How to enter trades, how to exit trades, how to select your strikes. We spent time working on that last week with the credit spreads challenge. The credit spreads challenge is free. We're about a week into it, and again, everybody who joined up with the challenge made money last week. We got a nice spreadsheet. I think even if those who made a few dollars, they also learned some stuff that they didn't know previously. They learned, how do you chart for credit spreads? How do you enter? How do you exit? When do you want to exit? Right? Do you let it go all the way to expiration? That's some of the things that we did last week in our calls for the credit spreads challenge. It's a challenge. I need to turn off that banner because I'm no longer there. I got to see which one it was. There it is. My computer is going slow. It's going slow. E2T membership. Oh, let's talk about what has changed in the membership. Okay, so up until now, what we did in the membership was we had a morning call that was 8:15 in the morning. It was a pre-market call. And then we would talk about various things, meetings, earnings, kind of all the things. We get ourselves ready for market to open at 9:30, right? We had a weekly meeting. The weekly meeting was something we were doing. We were doing it. I was doing a weekly meeting, but I was doing it for one group. It ended up kind of being for the whole group. So we ended up making it for the whole group. And then we were doing twice a month coaching calls. So this is what we're changing it to, though. The E2T membership is changing to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we're going to meet for our calls. Why is that significant? Anybody got any ideas why that's significant? Why meeting at 9:30 is significant? I need to turn on the fan because I am getting hot. Whoop. Do I feel anything? I feel something. Are y'all getting cooler? I'm getting cooler. Okay. Do you always sell PCS at 30 Delta short and 10 buy? When I'm doing it for myself, Knowledge Seeker, I don't necessarily do 30 Delta. I'll do whatever is below the support. But if the bot is doing it, I allow the bot to use its, system to do it. For me, it would probably be, again, it would be below support. So sometimes it's like 25, 20. It's close though. It's not too far off. The bot is doing about the same thing as me, as I would do if I was doing it manually. The only thing is the bot is going to enter at a more strategic time than I am. When it's just me, I'm going to enter, at random times, like even though I should enter when the price is coming towards and doing its thing. The bot is going to enter when it's supposed to. I'm going to enter when I can. So that's going to be the better of the two, is the bot's going to be a lot more strategic. So y'all, nobody told me why 9:30 was significant to why moving our meeting to 9:30 in the morning is so significant. Well, we were enjoying 8:15, and I think it was useful. I feel like it could add more value than it did, and we talked about it as a group. But 9:30 is good because then we're trading, or we're in a call and on the market when the market is actually open. Even though as sellers, we don't rush into trades. It's when the market opens. Yeah, we don't rush into trades at 9:30, right? We don't do that anyway because as sellers, we don't have to. But it would be good if we're on the call together, because one of our SPX strategy, it does include us using a breakout strategy. We use us, when we're doing our SPX and XSP trades, we do use a breakout strategy to help us with our first entry. So now we would be on the call when that is actually happening, which means the whole group is going to have the support of determining whether this is a true breakout or whether it's trying to fake us out or whatever. We'll still cover a lot of the same information. Like we'll still cover the earnings pieces, the meetings. We'll cover all those things too when we're on the call, but we'll actually be on the call when the market is open. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. The market opens at 9:30. Yes. So we're going to have that. We meet on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday evening, we meet at 7:00. And those topics are generally group determined. So if the group needs something more in charting, if we need something more that's strategy based, we need something that we need to lean in on closer, we use those Wednesday nights for those sessions. And then we meet once a month now. First Saturday is like our coaching time. And that's when we're going to learn new strategies. I'm thinking about putting us onto some, like, we don't really do a lot of butterflies and the other like more advanced, even though we're pretty advanced with credit spreads, but we're going to look at some other things too on our first Saturday of every month. So if you're, not in the membership and you'd like to join up, come on and join us. It's $97 a month. You get to hang out with our curated community. I'm telling you, there is no community that is greater. The people are, it's really good. And we have such experience, and everybody really chips in to help. It's just a good, comfortable community for those who are learning, those who are coming up. It's really a good place. I've been in places where the community felt kind of stiff. And if you ask questions, you kind of felt like you were wrong for asking questions. And sometimes that can be tough, and we don't want anybody to feel that way. I'm putting the link in the chat. So because I'm an educator, really tried to make sure that we have a space where learning is encouraged, because what we're trying to do, look, everybody's trying to do better and make money and do all that. All of us are trying to do that. Okay. So yeah, that's how that goes. All right. This thing always gets to tripping. Let me help it out. Educator2Trader.mv site.app. Let's do that. That's gonna save us some issues. Okay. Save us all, because Facebook still is I'm not gonna even talk about Facebook, because they'll put you in Facebook jail real quick. Like, oh, you're talking about us, then I don't want them. I don't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke from Facebook. So I'm cool with them. Let's see. Make sure I'm fine. I hit the mic with my water. Gotta make sure we don't have no problems. No problems. Okay, wait. Nope. I want that one. Okay. Hope everybody still can hear me fine. Ooh, don't want no problems with that either. Okay. So that's what we had there. Let me see where we are on my agenda. Oh, let's see what stocks did we talk about during our credit spreads last week. We had Amazon, we had SPY, SOXL, SoFi, XOM, USO, DraftKings, AMD, INTC, Coin, RCL, Boyle, Google, and TQQQ. Those are all the ones that we did trades on, that people in the Christmas credit spreads challenge did things on. Our credit spreads challenge was you did one contract of a one spread stock or a 50-cent spread stock. That's what you had to do. You could only use $100, right? Because the whole objective for this is not necessarily to learn immediately how to make a bunch of money, but it was how to get into the process of doing credit spreads. So that way, when you're ready, you can scale it up. We ain't trying to start off scaling from the jump. You putting on 3 and 4 contracts, or you going with the 5 spread or something that's bigger, and then you don't know what you're doing, and then something goes wrong. No. We did low stakes, low money, so we can get into the process of doing things. All right. And then once you got your process ready, you can scale up. Right. So we started off with that. All right, so let's go back to my next thing on the agenda is next week's possible movement on the chart. We talked about the meetings already. Let's talk earnings first, and then we'll go to that. Let's go earnings next. Okay, whoop, boom, 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 boom. Alrighty, so earnings, not a whole lot coming up for earnings this week. We've got Oracle, which I don't think Oracle was on my list, but Oracle might be on my list. Let me take this banner off. Okay, there we go. Should be going off. Go off. There we go. Okay, the earnings for this coming week, we've got Oracle Monday after close, Casey's, I'm not sure who this bird is, Innovative is Monday after close. Tuesday morning is Johnson Controls. Looks like Mama's something. MCore, Loop, and Champions. I don't think that's the Champions, the shoe brand. That's a different Champions, I believe. Wednesday before market, ABM, Rev. We've got Photronics. Looks like QuantaSing, Cognite, and VersaBank. Wednesday after close, we've got Adobe, Amtech, and Nordson. Thursday, Jabil, Knot, Live Ventures, Mulak, and IPA. And Thursday after close, we got Costco. Costco's one of the big boys that's still left around. Lennar, which is the housing. Scholastic. Y'all remember the Scholastic books? The Scholastic books, they would bring the book fair, and then you'd have kids who'd be crying because some kids were buying books and other ones are not. Oh, my goodness. Mesa Airlines is also that day. And Friday morning, we have Darden Restaurant is having earnings on Friday morning. Not very much. It's very light earnings. Very light earnings here, right? All right, let's go to look at the SPX. Let's go see what the market may do this coming week. I'm going to start with the weekly chart. You see, we've had a whole lot of green. A whole lot of green. 6 weeks worth of green candles is what we've had so far. We do have, though, strong resistance up here at 46.07. You can see that even here, the resistance level from the week of July 31st was also pretty strong. And it's only gone past that a taste. You know, remember, support and resistance is a zone. It's not a hard number. It's not a hard stop like at a stop sign. It's a zone. So price can go past it and then come back. But zones, can also be gone through because they do. I mean, the previous only way a zone can change to support from resistance, or from resistance to support, is if price goes through it. Usually at the zones is where price does slow down and stutter, and like it's doing right here. It's kind of taking a minute to decide what it's going to do, and we'll see what happens after this, right? If we're looking at a trend line, if I was going to take this as a trend line, let me just make another one. So we're starting here. Oh, I think I have this red one there. Never mind. I got you. I got one already, buddy. Okay. So we've got this red trend line. Let me widen this so we can actually see the trend line, because it's so slight that you could actually miss it. Right? We've got this red trend line started here and going up. We've got kind of a rising wedge or something they call it, going up just a little bit. That's that red one. I don't think I need that line anymore. This trend line here, this blue one, is just there, and this one here is no longer accurate either. I'll take this one off. But we still have, if we're looking at just in the short span of time, it's a lot happening here, but nothing like, there's not a clear like chart pattern that's happening here. There's not a clear chart pattern. You can't really tell. I mean, it's kind of caught between these two. You can't really tell what's going to happen next. So let's go with the days chart, the daily chart. Okay. Maybe rising wedge is going to have to break out one way or the other. It's like we kind of got it cornered now between this little rising red one from the weekly and this blue trend line from the daily. Looks like we're right in the middle. Like, it's decision time. Decisions. It's time to make a decision. It's time to make a decision. Yep. Let's see. I see some comments up here in the chat. Hey, Boone Wolf, I'm late. It's okay. This will be on YouTube and can be rewatched. Okay. So the daily chart, again, doesn't really tell us where we're going to go. We're at resistance. We're just a little bit past the resistance at this point. Doesn't mean that it can't come back down. We've got some things that are happening this week that could potentially cause us to have a little bit of a drop. But even if we did have a little bit of a drop, we've got support right here. We're right, just above the support area. Support's at 45.54. We're right there at support. So even if it did fall some, we've got not a whole lot of room for it to do much falling. Not much room to do much falling there. The chart SPY and XSP are all going to look the same because they're all based on the same little guy. Same guy. All right. I'm going to leave that one alone because it's not clear. That's a wait and see. I think SPX and SPY is like a wait and see. If you're trading it day to day, then we'll do like I always tell my community, trade what you see. If you're trading XSP for the day, you want to get your daily zones and trade what you see, right? If you're trying to trade for the week, you're going to want to keep in mind that Wednesday could possibly be a high volatility day. You want to keep that in mind. All right. So this week's trade suggestions or trade possibilities, let's do that. Trade possibilities is a long list. There was a long list of trade possibilities for this week. I made it all credit spreads because of the fact that we're in our credit spreads challenge, right? And even if you're selling puts, they can be changed into put. They can be, utilized as put credit spreads, just like Peakbot does them. But there's a lot of choices here. Notice I've got some things that are on both sides. I think Moderna might be on both sides. Google is on both sides. Amazon is on both sides. Rivian. And this is because some of them are in zones where we could very comfortably see and do an iron condor and make some money off both sides. An iron condor is when you have a call credit spread and a put credit spread going at the same time. You're using one set of collateral and you're taking in premiums from both sides, but you're only using the collateral one time. So if you have a one spread, for example, you would use $100 worth of collateral. Let's say you took in $15 from the call credit spread and $10 more from the put credit spread, then that's $25 you've received in premiums, but you've only used $100 of collateral. All right, that's how that goes. Iron condors allow you to make more money, with the same collateral. All right, let's do some charting. We're going to chart some stuff from this list. I believe we had some requests. If you saw the list, if you're following me on any of the social media platforms, you should be able to see this list. I don't think I can put something like a picture in these comments. I don't think they give you the option to do that. You can post a comment, but you can't post a picture. Okay. Got a lot. We're going to look at Amazon first. Amazon on the daily chart. Amazon showed up on the list on both sides, 149.50 and 142, 143. Okay, let's look to see if that makes sense. Okay, 149, 150 call credit spread. And 142, 143 put credit spread. So what we would do now, if you have one of these that you really like, you would take down, as a note. Tomorrow, after the market opens, you see how price moves a little bit, and then you start to look and watch it. Don't automatically enter these at 9:30 because they may be fine, but you want to look at the opening of the candle and opening of the day for this particular stock before you place the trade. Okay, you want to get a look at it first and then make sure that you're going to get at least 10% premiums, all the good stuff. You want to do that. My hair has a wild one going up there. Okay, so let's look. If we're looking at support and resistance, because we want call credit spreads beyond resistance, which we see here, resistance is about 147.85. And you want your put credit spread to be below support. And our support would be, from what I can see, right here, about 143.55. Okay, those are the places that I would see for some trades. Let's go look, though. I don't have the option chain open. I want to look at the option chain to see, even though I think it's a little misleading to look at the premiums like tonight while the market is closed, because you end up thinking it's going to be something that it ends up not being. Or it ends up being something a little bit different. It's a little bit different. And you're like, well, I thought I was going to get something different. But these 149, 150 call credit spread, 142, 143 put credit spread, looks like those would be fine because we got support and resistance in these places. If there's questions about any of the things that we talk about, the charting or whatever, then please be sure to ask. Okay. That's what I see for support and resistance on Amazon. Google is next. We're doing some charting, starting on the daily chart. Let's look and see. I see this gap here that needs to be identified. So we'll know gaps do offer support and or resistance depending on where they're located. They can provide support and resistance. This is a buyer's gap, which means there are buyers hanging out in here that got skipped over when the price jumped up. That's a buyer's gap. I was looking at resistance, now that we've got this was Thursday and Friday, then the resistance would really be there on the Thursday candle of Google. Let's turn this back to solid. And this is what I see as resistance here. Now, there's so much more to charting. Okay, I'm looking at support and resistance. There's definitely more to charting. If you don't know about charting, you're definitely going to want to go ahead and look at my Start with the Chart free webinar. It's a free webinar that you can look at. You can see how do we do charting, because it's important that you know how to chart for no matter what strategy you're trading, whether you're buying stock and holding them, whether you're buying calls and puts, whether you're selling calls and puts, whether you're doing leaps, no matter what you're doing, all those things are going to start with the chart. All of those start with the chart. Okay, so you need to know how to chart. And it's not difficult to learn. It's not hard to learn, but it's imperative. You're trying to make good money, you need to be able to chart. All right. Okay. No, I don't mean that any type of mean way. It's just you need that's a skill you can't get around. You need to know that. All right. Resistance I see here at 136.93, and support I see at 131.44. When I look at the, let's see if I can bring this into the other screen and keep it small. There we go. That way y'all can see what I'm looking. You can see what I see. This is Google. 137, 138 would be the call credit spread. I knew that was going to go away. 137, 138 call credit spread. Again, not trading advice, just talking about what could possibly be. Put credit spread 130, 131. Okay, remember you want to set your strikes outside of support and resistance. You want to set your strikes outside of support and resistance. Okay? What else did we want to look at? Let me put the list back up. Maybe y'all have something that will jump out at you. I wanted to look at XPing. I think that showed up on another list. We were just, that was over on the Peakbot list. XPing and TQQQ was there. Since Moderna's on both sides, let's look at that. Y'all know that the crypto stuff is moving pretty good right now. Don't know how many people are into the crypto as far as buying and things, but the crypto supportive stocks seem to be moving along too, which is Mara, Riot, Coin. Those are also moving along with what's happening. Let's see, we got Moderna. Let's go to Moderna. See going on there. Where are we? There we are. Support, resistance. These dots are it's a indicator that is support and resistance on multiple time frames. So the green says is daily, the blue is weekly time frame, and the red is monthly time frame. Notice all three of these have lined up at this same place of about 62.50. That all the supports are at about 62.50. There's also a red up here that was at 71. And resistance, there's not really any resistance showing here except for the ones that were here, which was 95, right? 95. Let's go look at what numbers we had for, what numbers did we have for Moderna? 86.87, which would be about here. 86 is right in here. I'll put a line on it here in a second. 86 is about here. This is with the resistance line right with this candle here where basically the stock took a rest. at 86. And then oh no, that's the call credit. Wait. Do I have myself confused? Oh, 72, 73. The numbers were doing nuts. Okay, so Moderna 71, 72 would be the support area, which lines up with this here. Let's put these lines on. What did we say? 86 and 72. If I was just charting this without that, though, I can see this being a resistance area because of this candle here. This is where the price came down. It took a rest and then came down some more. Some people call this a chair, and it can operate like resistance or support as well. It's currently in a support and resistance zone because I would mark this one here as well. I would mark this one from, what day was this? October 24th, the top of this zone. Probably would take it up to the top of that wick just so I would know that that was where it was. But you can see that these candles aren't bopping past it, and that's at 81.63. All of these are kind of coming. This one here went above it a little bit up to 84, but it didn't close up there. So that's what I would chart for resistance. And if I was charting support, I would chart support at 76. And then I would put another support line down here underneath this gap, because there's a gap here. I would put it down underneath the gap. Let me turn that green so I will know when I come back to it what that was. But there's a buyer's gap back here from November the 13th. And between November 13th and 14th, there's a gap there. And I would call that support. Is a buyer's gap slash support in here. And then I would call these two things resistance. Oh, I'm not sure what kind of spelling we're doing there. Adding all kind of extra letters. Resistance is somewhere, and there's two resistance lines. So we had 86, 87 as 86, 87 and 71, 72. 86, 87 call credit spread and 71, 72. This 71, 72 is actually a little bit higher than this gap. It's actually in the middle of that gap. I'd be a little more leery, but I do see the support here for us according to these dots is at 71.67. So I could see why that would be. That's from this number here, from back this candle. I could see where they might want that one to see what the premiums would look like. Remember, you want to get at least 10% premiums when you're doing your credit spreads. At least 10% premiums means that you're getting you're collecting $10 for a one spread, which is $100 of collateral. I'm putting it on the chat. Putting it on the chart, that way you can see it. You're going to want to get, at least $25 for a 2.5 spread, which is $250 of collateral. It's kind of like that. You want to get at least 10% from your credit spreads, at least, right? So that's the minimum. I guess I could have also put, I don't really like to get $5 for the 50-cent spreads. I usually look to, you're going to get at least $8 for a 50-cent spread. And the reason is because you're going to spend a couple of dollars, most likely, in fees. So you're good, depending on who you're using. If you're using Robinhood charges something really low for fees, so you don't have to figure that in as much. But if you're doing Thinkorswim or some of these other guys and you have to pay fees, you want to figure in that you want to keep the money past the past the fees. You know, if you do it with Robinhood, which all of these things we're talking about can be done on Robinhood. As long as you have the level to be able to trade spreads on Robinhood, you can do it there. Robinhood doesn't allow you to do a lot of different things because it just doesn't have the platform for it. But simple things like credit spreads, you could do them. You could run them on Robinhood. There's no charting there, but you can chart here on TradingView. You can chart other places, right? You can chart other places. Okay, last call. Oh, we didn't look at TQQQ, but last call. I'm letting y'all see what's on the chart that you might want. Maybe I've looked at all the ones you would want to look at. I see some comments. Let me go see what's in the comments. What's in the comments? You're asking. Okay, now I can't see the comment. There we go. Where did I get what list? I created it. I mean, I got the stuff from Bar Chart. Hi, Raymond. I go to barchart.com. That's where I start. I start at Bar Chart. And I've got a few videos about how to use Bar Chart as a screener. But I look in the call credit spreads and the put credit spreads area of Bar Chart. And then I take that information and dispense it through whether it's a buy or a sale. And then I look at the charts to see whether I would do a call credit spread or a put credit spread and what numbers I would use. Bar Chart suggests the numbers. I don't automatically take the numbers that they suggest. Sometimes their numbers are dead on. Sometimes they're a little tighter than I would be comfortable with. So I don't suggest anything that I wouldn't personally do. But Bar Chart is where I start. Okay, it's a free screener. That's where I start. Okay, we're on the screen. Let me see if I can take us there real quick. Barchart.com, just so you can see where it is in the. You can go under options. My computer's moving very slow. It's doing a lot of work right now. Come on, Cletus. Come on. See, it's spinning. Just spinning. Close some stuff. See if that'll help it some. Okay, so I'm under options. I'm gonna set opinions. I'm under options, and then you see call credit spreads, and you see put credit spreads. They have the one that says debit spreads. We don't do those. That's not what my community trades. Put credit spreads and call credit spreads, and I select this list. Let's say, for example, we selected this list, and they give you a first page of the ones if you're doing it for free, you only get one page, and you don't get to do any manipulating. You have to just basically look at what they give you. You can look into these things more closely, but you can't do any manipulating of this data besides put it in order. But you can't go and put on a filter or anything. And then I look at this to see what would be good strikes. I look at the chart to see what would be good strikes. I don't necessarily they give you strikes here, but I don't necessarily take their strikes at face value. Not that I think they're going to be incorrect, because they may be fine, but I go and include a chart, and I don't know what the criteria is that they use to pick their strike. So because I don't know that criteria, I know that if I go look at the chart and I go check out support and resistance and see where, I would personally be comfortable, then that's how I determine the strikes. Okay, you're welcome, Miss Cheryl. TQQQ, which is the one I used on PeakBot last week. TQQQ and SQQQ are inverses of each other. All right, TQQQ and SQQQ are inverses. SQQQ is the short. So when QQQ is going up, SQQQ is going down. When QQQ is going up, then TQQQ is also going up, but it's going up at a cheaper price. Notice it's $44 and QQQ is at probably $448, because this is just 10%. So I looked here at our list. Let's go see what our list said as far as strikes go for TQQQ. 47.48 as a call credit spread. So just above this gap, I might have looked at this line thing, Miss Cheryl, but 47, I think I looked at these two. 47.48 is the call credit spread. 47.48 for 47.48. I was seeing where that gap came from because I had a gap here that was, oh, here it is. This gap is from back on July, between July 19th and July 20th. It gapped down, which would be a seller's gap, and it still hasn't been closed. A price went up into it a little bit right here, and it's gone back up into a little bit more here, but it's not, it hasn't been closed yet. Okay, so because of that, I'm using the top of that gap for me would be resistance, probably in the 46 range, and 47.48 is a call credit spread. That would be for TQQQ. And I don't think I did, if I was going to do a put credit spread, which I probably wouldn't now because price is so far away from it, but it would be below this support, 42. If I were going to, it would be in the 42 range. There's probably something in here, 43 and some change, but because see how all these candles are in here just kind of stopping right along there. That may indicate that there is some support in here, support and resistance in here. But I would want to, what you do when you're doing your iron, if you decide you're going to do iron condors, you're going to want to do one side at a time. You would enter, like, let's say we'd enter the call credit spread first and see how price was doing. And as it turned down or whatever, then you would enter the put credit spread a few days later. I wouldn't enter them at the same time because you don't get the best premiums that way. The whole point is we're trying to get the best premiums we can. This is probably going to be some support, but it's right in the zone. And that would be closer than I'd want to be right off rip. You'd have to do a little bit of waiting to see how price acted up here after it starts going into this gap. Okay. Okay. I don't see the button. Oh, there it is. Stop sharing. All righty. So now our agenda, we covered this week. We covered next week. We talked about earnings. We talked about some trade ideas. We talked about our credit spreads challenge. We talked about how the membership is making some changes. And if you want to be a part of the live trading, we'll be together in the mornings. If you want to be a part of that, definitely go and join up with the membership. All are welcome. All are welcome. And I realize we're right at the Christmas time, but I also feel like this is no better time to give the gift of knowledge to yourself because we want to go into the new year ready, Freddy. You want to go into the new year ready to pull in some change. People go into the new year ready to get back into the gym. You're going to go in there. You want to be ready first of the year to start pulling your money back, the money that you're spending for Christmas, or making that Christmas money on the front side. So that way you're not going into debt during Christmas, buying stuff for people who may or may not appreciate it. Hopefully they will. Hopefully everybody you buy gifts for will appreciate them. And, this is the giving season. And we should all be able to give with a cheerful heart. You should be able to give with a cheerful heart, not under duress. Buyer's gap. We're trying to figure that out in my family with me and my children and my grandson and my other grandchildren. We're trying to figure out how we're going to work Christmas. How we're going to work. We have so many grandkids that are nearby. So we have to now figure out what's Nani and Pawpaw going to do, because we got to, it has to make sense. Has to make sense. Don't necessarily be about the money, but it's got to make sense. And we're not buying just to buy. So it needs to be gifts that going to make sense, right? Let's buy stuff to make sense. Okay. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, please do so. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Okay. It helps the channel grow. I put out videos at least once a week. I try to do twice a week. Go look at the Start with the Chart. If you haven't looked at that webinar yet, please go do that. Follow me in all the social media places. I am everywhere as Educator2Trader. Go and follow me in all the places where, as we keep working and keep growing towards becoming master traders. That's what we're after here. We're getting our money back out of the market because y'all know we don't put enough in. And even if we didn't put it in the market with stocks, we put it in the market with goods. We bought Nikes, we bought McDonald's, we bought Apple products, we've gone to Walmart. Let's go get those things to pay us back. We're gonna get those same people to pay us back. We Adobe's and Microsoft and Nvidia's. We especially now at Christmas, we can spend a lot of money on these different companies. So let's get those companies to pay us back. And we need to learn what we need to learn in order to get our money back from them. All right. So it's been wonderful hanging out with you all, as it always is. All right. We're definitely going to stay green. We want to get this money. That's the plan. If you're looking for me, please send me an email or, find me in a messenger chat or something, and we can talk for whatever you need. Okay. I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. An hour and 5 minutes later, I tell everybody goodbye. Goodbye, sweetheart. Yeah, it's time to go. Goodbye, you all. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye-bye.